Assalamu alaikum ji. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm Shujai Man here. A new video after a long time. Today's video is focused on how rostering works in the UK and how an airline roster works specifically at my airline. So depending on which airline you're flying for, obviously the roster is a very important part of your lifestyle. Now, when I was the first job, I was looking for the first job, it didn't really matter what the roster was. I was like, any opportunity will work. But coming a bit later into your career, you start thinking about which roster would better suit you or which roster would you like. So there are multiple type of airlines here in the UK. Some airlines feature just day trips. You just go and back. Some airlines feature night stops as well, where you go to another city, you stay for the night, and then you come back the next day, or a 4-day trip or something. We're lucky at the airline I work with currently, we have a mix of both. So you have day trips as well as night stops. Depending on what you bid for and what you like and how senior you are, you will get a mix of both. I personally like a mix. If you fly for airlines like Jet2, Ryanair, EasyJet, there are less night stops. I don't think Ryanair has any night stops, similar to Jet2, but EasyJet has a few night stops. So mostly those are day trips. So the good thing for day trips is you can come home every night, but the bad thing is you might be working really unsociable hours. Whereas where I'm working currently, the airline is actually pretty reasonable with their pairings and the time of day and night we work. I don't think I've worked anywhere near past 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. On a weekday, and usually weekends we usually get them off depending on how the flying's going, or we're usually doing a charter weekend. So this video is just to show you how the roster works here, and what you could expect when you do join an airline, and how it works so you can plan your life. So here is my roster for July and August. I'll start with August. So this is where it's starting, so from the 1st to 30th. Now we get our roster around 20 days before the publish. So the 1st of August, the roster for August, we get it on the 10th of July. So it is reason you can plan your life a bit. And before that, obviously there's a bidding period that opens where you can bid for specific trips or specific days off, or specific, if you want, let's say, weekends off, you can try to bid for weekends off, but then depends when the roster comes out, if the bid has actually gone through. And I like to bid for specific Tuesday, Wednesdays off, so usually I do manage to get those, but some people like weekends off. So depending on how senior you are, when the optimizer runs whatever they do in the background, when the roster comes out, you might have your weekends off, you might not have your weekends off. But the good thing is, since the roster comes out such in advance, you are able to plan your life a bit. But obviously changes do happen. So on my roster, just to show you, I was doing a trip on the 31st July to the 1st of August. So it was London City to Edinburgh, and then we take the aircraft back. So Edinburgh back to London City, and then London City back to Edinburgh. So it was 3 flights. We ended at around 10... this is German time for now. So we ended at around 9:10, so back in the hotel by 10 p.m.ish. And then we had some decent rest, around 16 hours rest. And then on the next day, it was Edinburgh back to London, and then London City to Nice, and then Nice and back. So we finished on the last day, which is day 2 of the trip. We finished at 20:10 Zulu, which was 9:10 local. I remember this flight was quite delayed. We ended at around 10 p.m. local in London. So that was it, back home. The next day was an available day. With our airline, the available day works in a fact that you could be put on any flight without in their duty, but there won't be any night stops. So I think I got that day off because there was nothing they needed me for. But they can tell you much in advance, but the last they have to tell you is the night before. The Sunday was a day trip, a 4-sector day. So London to Berlin, Berlin to London, London Rotterdam, Rotterdam to London. So I checked in at 12:25 local in London, and I was back home by 9:30 local. So it's a long day, 9-hour day. But the good thing is, again, Saturday was off. Sunday I had most of the morning off, and then working the afternoon, which works for me. I was a bit lucky with the next stretch, so I had 4 days off for some reason. So I had the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th off, which is really good. The Friday was another available day. That did change to a maintenance ferry flight. But again, that was a 6 a.m. report and a 12 p.m. finish. So it was okay, it wasn't that bad. The Saturday, Sunday, I was in the simulator for a revalidation of the LOE. So I was out to Gatwick for 2 days. And then the next Monday was another available day. I don't think that changed as well. Actually, it did change to some flight. I can't remember which one we did. Then the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had 3 days off. Not bad. This was a charter weekend. So the charter weekends, we because London City Airport closed on the weekends, what they've started doing is ship aircraft out to other bases and do weekend flights from other destinations for charter companies. So this was the Friday was London to Milan, Milan back to London, and then London to Belfast. Night stop Belfast, I think it was around 16 hours of rest, which is a nice, decent rest now. The Saturday was Belfast out to Palma in Mallorca, and then Palma back to Belfast, and then it was around 12 hours rest, and then we were back to London. So ending quite a nice time, around 12:40 local on the Sunday. That was it. That's the duty done. That was good. Nice. The next Monday was quite an early report. It was a 4:40 a.m. report out of Glasgow and back. The Tuesday was an afternoon report out of Malaga and back. Again, decent days. The Glasgow was around a 5-hour day, or 4-hour day, I think. Malaga was an 8-hour day. I got Wednesday off. With this patch, I usually get 2 days off, and it's a nice pattern going, but this is something I swapped myself with another first officer. So we're in yesterday, I did Berlin back, so London City to Berlin, Berlin to City, and City to Berlin. 7.5-hour day, 8-hour day. And it was quite a decent report in as well. It was around 12:25 local report in London. It's not bad. And then today we're doing Berlin back to City, City back to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt back to City. Tomorrow is an available day as well. Then on the Sunday I'm doing a far and back. Monday, Tuesday I get off. 3 days of planned reserve. The planned reserve is basically a standby. They could call you out if they need you. Depending on what standby, they could put an airport standby or a home standby. So, but if they need you, they will call you, and you will need to do any flight they need you to do within that 3 days. They could also put a 3-day trip if they need me for a 3-day trip. They could put that in advance. So it just depends. That's basically 3 days where I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, but I might be working. 30th is a day off, and the 31st is the last day of the month, is a Nice and back. So overall, pretty decent roster. I think this is around 60 hours of flying, which is what we mostly do, what I'm doing in the last few months. I could bid for more. There are tricks to caveat the system to get more hours if you want. I'm pretty happy with this sort of roster. It allows me a lot of days off, and it's not as hammer-packed as you have other Ryanair and Jet2 and Wizz Air flights, because their rosters look quite tricky. Again, the good thing is nice, decent reports, nice, decent finish times, not late in the night. We don't do any overnight flights, and we do get a few night stops, so it's nice to be. I'm in Berlin right now, and we went out last night, just us and the crew, and it was good. So again, I think first job, you're not really picky about what roster you get. I was happy. I was like, anyone who takes me, I don't mind doing night stops, overnight flights, bad rosters, as long as you get the job. But looking now, if I now in a position where I do have a few hundred hours now, so I'm able to compare different rosters and see, actually, I would like to be home a bit more, or actually, I could do more night stops, depending on the personal circumstances. So this video is mainly for those students in training, or those who are looking to move airlines, or just looking to move from a flight instructor job to an airline job, because the beauty of a flight instructor job is you're home every night. Whereas when you come into airline flying, and more like corporate flying, that's even more brutal when they're staying at home, you're not home that much. So it doesn't really match everyone. It's not the lifestyle everyone wants. I personally love it because it's different report times. It's not a fixed 9 to 5 job. It is different times to report, different times to end. I know what I'm doing. The roster works. The bad thing is sometimes you have to miss out on friends meeting up or family events or stuff because you are flying. And again, if you can't get a day off, you could try swapping it. Let's say in September I need a day off and they've put a flight on me. I could try swapping it, but if it doesn't work, I need to be there unless I'm sick or anything else. So this is how the roster works, just insight to the airline life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope hopefully more videos will be coming soon, but till then, stay safe and clear blue skies. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Good day, Z360 November, descent flight level 90, direct to Chase, A320 information, Oscar 1009.
Easy 360 November, Birmingham radar, good afternoon, vector straight in LS, runway 15.